Hello, my name is Heather McDaniel. I'm a Colorado realtor here in Perry Park, Colorado, and I serve Southwest Metro Denver, Larkspur, Castle Rock, and surrounding areas. I'm excited to be part of your day, and I thank you for taking a moment to listen to what I have to say. And if you do need a realtor, in Colorado or even outside of Colorado, I have referral partners that I'd be glad to set you up with. Give me a call, 303 519 9262, or as you see, you can email me at homesbyheathermcd@gmail.com or visit my website, heathermcdanielrealty.com. So, again, today we're talking about adding curb appeal to your home. And you can find most of these ideas online. However, I have a few that may or may not be my original idea. You'll have to tell me. I doubt that it's original anymore with the internet. So, moving right along. Trimming bushes and branches around your yard makes such a big difference of a message that your buyer gets as far as your home being maintained and cared for. You want to make sure that all these bushes are trimmed and are within their boundary that they are supposed to be within, and they look like they've been cared for. You don't want some outgrowth that is a nuisance to walkways or driveways above and below. So I just showed a house the other day where the scrub oak had outgrown its boundary and the branches were hanging way into the driveway, which caused the buyer to scratch their car. So, needless to say, they were already turned off by that specific property. Next, let's talk about the walkways. You want those to also be clean and trimmed, free of weeds and water hoses and anything that could be a visual distraction or a tripping hazard. Now, if you are marketing to the senior community, those that are 55 and older, they are looking for level walkways. So if you have a way of creating your walkway to be level instead of kind of having drop off points, your 55 plus community will really appreciate that. What we want is a walkway that is safe to walk on and doesn't pose a tripping hazard. The other thing you may consider is adding a handrail somewhere along the porch or along the sidewalk, especially for your 55 plus community. Again, you don't have to, these are just ideas. So, this slide here is my pet peeve as a realtor. It is so frustrating to try to show a home where the doorknob doesn't work or the lock doesn't work. And when I call the listing agent, there's some sort of a trick. Lift up, pull right, turn left. Whatever the trick is, your buyer doesn't want to have to learn a trick to get into the house, nor does the buyer's agent. So, update your doorknobs. At the very least, make sure your door, especially your front door, can open and close and lock easily. We don't want to have to train someone on how to open and or unlock your front door. Doorbells. Who knew that a doorbell could create such a conversational piece? I just posted on my private Facebook page to talk to me about what you think about doorbells. And surprisingly, most people feel like a ring type doorbell should be standard on a home. And if it is not a doorbell that can record visual or audible conversations or happenings on the porch, that means that the owner has been, quote, living under a rock. So, although it may not be a deal breaker for your buyer, a doorbell can send a message of my house is updated and my house has security, minimal security through video and audible recordings. Next, house numbers. House numbers can sometimes look very worn, and if there's been some creatures that have moved in to call that their home, it makes your house look uncared for. So either clean out those house numbers or replace them. I would suggest replacing them if the paint hasn't faded around them, because that does give an updated feel and it makes your home feel maintained and cared for. Replacing or cleaning your outdoor lights will make a huge difference, and it's an easy thing to do. If you don't want to replace your outdoor lighting, simply take your light off and give it a nice clean, possibly a fresh coat of paint, and replace the light bulb. We don't want to see any dead moths or spiders or webs on the outdoor lighting in or outside of that light. Replacing your welcome mat is an easy fix, and these mats are typically on sale pretty much anywhere for $8 to $12. I've seen them at Hobby Lobby for around $8. I've seen them at Sam's. So replacing your welcome mat um, and keeping it generic, just a welcome. That way it's not offensive to any buyer and it looks fresh and clean and sends a signal of please remove your shoes. Because if your porch is clean, your house is probably immaculate. Next, take a look at your mailbox. Is it sun faded? Does the flag work? Does it open and close with a nice tight seal? So, if your mailbox is ready for a new life, you might consider just buying a new one. A standard mailbox is probably no more than $60 to $70 at your local hardware store. You can probably find it for even less expensive if you do some shopping around. But when you replace that mailbox, go ahead and give your post a fresh coat of paint or a new stain, and that will give the impression of a well-maintained home. Although we are in a drought, there is a myth that if you water your grass 30 minutes before a showing, you will have a sparkle effect on your grass. And that may be true, but with water being at such a shortage, especially this year of 2026, we want to maybe find some other creative ways of making our lawn look maintained, and that's simply by keeping it trimmed and mowed. If your driveway has cracks and holes, you'll want to clean out those cracks from as much dirt as you can, and then get yourself some polyurethane and go ahead and caulk in those seals. If you have an asphalt driveway, you'll want to get an asphalt filler, a rubberized asphalt filler, and fill in your cracks and your joints. If you have a shed that is on your property and you have quite a few tools hanging and within your shed, now's the time to donate, toss, give away, pre-pack. So if you're not using those tools and you still want them, go ahead and get them pre-packed. Donate what you don't want and throw away what's broken. Go ahead and keep what you need to maintain your home and your yard, but otherwise get those things pre-packed so that your buyer can have a good look at your shed and not be distracted by your tools. Pro tip for you: before you have your photos done, be sure to get your windows cleaned inside and out by a professional cleaner. Why a professional cleaner? Because they will clean everything. They will clean your screens, they will clean inside, outside your windows, your trucks, and your windowsills. They usually do an amazing job, and it is so worth it. So, my husband and I get our windows cleaned about once a year, and we have a lot of windows, and so it's somewhat affordable. I think if you only have a few windows, you'll be surprised at how affordable and what your return on your investment will be. Next, let's talk about some free touches you can do around your home. If you can't afford to do a lot of these things, let's talk about some minimum things you can do to make your home shine and stand out to the buyers. First of all, if you have a pet, clean up your pet waste daily, not every other day, not once a week, but daily. Get yourself a pet waste trash can. Put in a heavy duty plastic bag, a construction bag if you wish, and clean that up every single day. Cover it and keep it away from the deck, patio area. Keep it as far away from the house and the outdoor areas as you can. And that will keep the offensive smells away from your buyer. Um, Keep your yard free from toys, dog toys, anything that's going to be a visual distraction for your buyer. Not all buyers will have a pet, and that may turn them off. So, again, rake tree droppings such as pine needles, pine cones, leaves. Keep those raked up and clean, especially off the porches and the walkways. Trim up all your bushes and your shrubs so that they do not look like a lot of work. Power wash your surfaces so they look fresh and clean, especially if you cannot afford to replace your lighting, your numbers, or your mailbox. Try to keep things looking clean and polished all the way around them. Any weeds that are coming up through your driveways or your walkways or your grass, when you see them, pull them. If you cannot replace your doorknob and your locks, polish them and make them work by using WD-40 or other methods. Finally, some affordable touches. So maybe you can't afford to do all of these, but you might want to consider doing a few. One of those is adding seasonal plants and flowers, no more than 4 on a large porch and no more than 2 on a small porch. Keep it symmetrical, meaning 1 on each side or 2 on each side. Replace your light bulbs on your outdoor lights. Um, Add a fresh layer of mulch to make your landscaping look fresh, and replace your overused rugs and mats. Again, that's $8 or $9. Update your flower pots. Go to Goodwill or another thrift store, and often they have flower pots in there that are fairly affordable. You don't need to go to Pottery Barn, just go to a yard sale even. And often they just want to get them off the property. You might want to consider adding some solar lights to your walkways and or steps. Update your doorbell and your doorknob. Update your house numbers and replace your mailbox. So those are affordable ways to make your home look fresh and new and maintained. If you have questions about curb appeal or anything else real estate, give me a call or text at 303-519-9262 or drop it in the comments and I will respond. Thank you for your time, and again, I look forward to seeing you again.